Hi, how are you doing? I'm sitting in the garden. I'll be talking over a screen grab, and I might put a bit on the end in exactly the same position saying, thanks for watching. In fact, I'll say it now. Thanks for watching to the very end. If you can hit like and then unlike it and hit it again, that's fine. The more likes you give me, you can unlike it and like it again. The more likes you give me, the more YouTube likes it. And the more I like YouTube for liking it. Right, onwards. What I sold in April, not everything, some interesting bits, in fact, quite a few, but I'm going to rattle through them real fast. And as usual, no video games, no books, no DVDs. Well, I say that. There's one standout one, which I'm just bragging, really. I'm going to show you. Fisher Price Laugh and Learn cookie jar. First example of something I sold, 1st of April. And it is a bit of an April Fool's, this one. Cost me £3, sold for £9. There was a time when I'd get them for £1, £1.50, clean them up, sell them for £13. Those times have gone. Plus the postage is now quite high because they're bulky. So they cost about £5 to send. They're over the maximum width for a small parcel. So they normally go for £4.95 through Hermes. Or you could send them for £4.35 plus fees plus a box or whatever through the Royal Mail. It works out about the same. So that's that. Next one. So basically I'm not going to be buying those anymore. Whereas these, although the price of board games in charity shops and at car boots has gone up, people before the lockdown would have sold you this for 50p or a pound. Nowadays it's £2 or £3. They've still kept their good prices, and that's I had that up at £21.99, sent some offers out, got £19. That is on top with Royal Mail small parcel on top. So yeah, £19. This was nice. I bought this for £3, went up for £24.99, sold for £24.99. Disney Star Wars. It's like a card game. Inside a tin, inside a box. It was all sealed. I got it at a charity shop for £3. New and factory sealed. I was quite surprised they hadn't put it as a manager's special. It was in cancer research and it was £3. Everything in £3 except for the manager's specials. And about a third of the store is now manager's specials. Anyway, I won't go on about that. This was a nice TV. It cost me £15. It had a pat test on it. Got it from a charity shop. So it was electrical. So I knew it was all working. Otherwise, I'd just take it back. And yeah, it sold very quickly actually for £50. Plus delivery on top. Nice TV. I wouldn't recommend leaving the DVD, which was the taxi driver, for whatever little girl the pink TV went to. So I didn't include the DVD. I'm assuming it went to a little girl. I mean, it could have gone to a little boy, I suppose, or anybody. It had a pat test, so it could be in somebody's work environment. These are nice. If you haven't seen these before, I sold one of these in January, or it could have been early February, I can't remember now, but it was in one of my January, February, what I sold. And I sold it for £30 or £32 at the time, £29.99 maybe, which was what they were worth then. I have recently seen that they had gone up, so when I found this at a car boot for £2, I actually checked it out. It was new in box, so yeah, £50. And let's face it, everybody needs to monitor their energy use at the moment. So yeah, the price has gone up for the second-hand ones. I'm trying to get them to put my me a smart meter in, and they'll probably give me one then. Yeah, I'm trying to get them to do that because my meter readings have been all over the place. And of course, you need to know now. This was nice. You may have seen this featured in one of my other videos. I showed you it, and I showed you also how to put the video onto eBay. Here we go. You see, I had it up for £45.05. Well, it was originally £44.95, but when the postage went up, I just blanket put everything up 10 pence. I know it sounds silly, but those 10 pences do make a difference. Anyway, here's the video, and as you can see, this is, I think, what sold it to the person who bought it. I'm not saying it sold any faster, but what I am saying is the person who bought it appreciated how clean and tidy it was, and they could hear the music and sound. I haven't got the sound on at the moment. So yeah, he was pleased with it, and I got £39 plus delivery. Those characters are always worth buying. Anything, whereas this sort of thing's just not worth buying anymore. I bought these individually, £1.25 each, which is a reasonable price at a charity shop. But when you're bundling them together to sell, instead of buying a bundle and separating them out, if you're bundling something you bought separately, all the value, the fact that you bought them by individual item, is lost. So really, should have been paying 50 pence each for these and listing them for that sort of money. I did get the full price, £13.99 plus delivery on top. But I also made a video of that and the photography and everything. The fact that it cost £6.25, after fees and everything, I probably only made £3 or £4. And it's just not worth it for the amount of time and effort involved. This was nice. This was easy. Those are the photographs that came with it. I mean, I blasted them out on a white background. It probably took me 10 minutes. The write-ups, oh well, you can see it's 30 seconds worth of write-up there. It cost me £5. Lady sort of grabbed me and dragged me over to her stall and showed me it. She has a tendency to do that. She did it with something else recently. It was a camera, but I didn't want it. And she said, it's £5. And I'm like, really? And I went away. I just walked off. I said, oh, thanks very much for showing me it, and then walked away. And then I looked it up, and these have been selling for up to £50. I know, £50 for a single tape, Chrome UCX90. Really? I mean, they're a collector's item now. Nobody in their right mind is going to open one and then record, I don't know, Jim Reeves on it or something. Yeah, the chrome, very nice. The difference between this one and a £50 one is it looks exactly the same, but right here it says made in France. If it says made in Japan, it's a £50 item. That little bit of word there, Japan, France. This one's a French one, so it's only worth 20 to 25 quid. And yeah, a Japanese one's worth 50. That's the way it goes. These were nice. I got a lot from my local pharmacy. When I went to collect my prescription, they had, I was just in the right place at the right time. They'd just put them out. They had lots and lots of different nicotine replacement products. They had the spray in your mouth ones. They had these pills. They had gum. They didn't have patches. Or if they did, I can't remember. They might have had a couple of packs, but I decided against those. These were short date, but we're talking short date with like 2 months, 3 months. So they went out of date, and let's face it, most people who are buying this sort of thing, they're going to use it immediately anyway. Yeah, you are. They were May 22, and this was April. So it was like all of April, because it was the 5th, and then all of May before the expiry. And let's face it, on something like this, it's best before. It's not don't use it one day after it's expired because you'll die. It's best before, really. I mean, there is expiry dates, don't get me wrong. There's expiry dates and then there's expiry dates. You know, it's like expiry dates for print ink. Printer ink, it's all right for about 8 years. Anyway, I got 32 of them in total in the end. At £1 a pack. They weren't all packs of 5 like that and selling for £15. If you look at 5, £15 there. That was one purchase, bought them all. So he actually paid 75. But overall, of the 32 items I bought, I sold all of them within the week. I had a £470 return, £420 return and £270 profit after all costs and getting me investment back inside a week on probably 15 sales. It was very good. But you can't always expect that sort of profit margin. Well, except for in this case, this was a good profit margin. Paid £2 off a clearance guy. I bought this because I thought the camera must be not working. It was quite worn on the corners. The plastic sort of paint surface over the metal had worn off. I might be able to show you that on a picture. It's not very good detail, but you could see it in there, and there. The right on the corners, it had worn. It was quite well used. There was no scratching on the front of it though. It had already been boxed or something. Anyway, it was in a clearance guy's pile, and I held it up to the guy and said, "How much for this?" He says, £2. Fair enough. Even if it doesn't work, it had a memory card and a battery to sell off if it doesn't work. Well, it did work, and I got £95 for it. Sorry, yeah, £95 and 9p. I sent it by special delivery, so that after fees and everything, it was £87 after the postage. The fees are going to be, I don't know, 18. So what's that leave? 69, and it cost me 2. So yeah, well impressive that. I was very happy to have found that. So I probably made £65 on that. This was nice too. I paid £15 for this. Hung around a long time. I started at 119. I sent offers. I did discounts. I sent offers. I did discounts. I discounted it down past this. At one point I had it up at £85, and then I was sending offers at 75. Nothing. Put the price back up. Sold. What can you say? I put it back up to 100 quid, sent some more offers out, and I got the full price, well, £92.99, which was much more than I had been selling it for. And there's postage on top of that, so it was the fees on that, so there's another 18 quid off that, and I think it was 15, so 33 off that, leaves me £60 profit. Yeah, next. Oh, these were nice. Paid £7 for these. Nice for me, not so much for the guy who sold me them. He was the guy who sold me the 5 hi-fi systems for £10. Sorry, 5 for £50, which averaged at £10 each. They were all second hand, quite worn but serviceable. One of them's very nice indeed, and is waiting at its Technics, waiting for the right buyer. I've reduced it recently to £179. These were £7, brand new in the box. Unfortunately for the guy, he'd just opened the box, as in from new. He'd got it from a clearance, and it was new and sealed. He'd opened it to show somebody, gone round the other side of the stall to get some money off somebody, and he came back and the hi-fi in the top of the box had disappeared, leaving just the speakers. And he was gutted. I mean, you know, I felt for him at the time, but I bought them off him anyway. He charged me £7. I mean, I would have happily paid £35 for a brand new in the box system like this from Panasonic. Yeah, but I got really good price for them. Postage on top again. And they went away quite happily. It did take a while to get the right price for them, whereas this sold overnight. I put this on, I got $49.95, and then I was a bit peeved really, and you may have noticed in a couple of my other videos that I've held up typewriters and shown them and said, like, you know, they're getting really good money, and I'm talking about really good money. Like on Etsy, these are 130 quid, but on the websites that Etsy supplies links to, if you know what I mean, for advertising purposes, they're £230. £230 refurbished. And a lot of the time, what the people are doing is they're stripping them down to the metal, stripping this pink blue paint off and putting pink or flowery colours so that they're one-offs to people who still want to type, but it's much more sort of girly, if you like. I'm allowed to say that in today's political environment? I don't know. But flowery or pinky, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, £230 for this model. So, having sold it overnight, you know, I was happy with the money because it cost me a £5. So, you know, can't grumble. These are pretty much bread and butter for me these days. I'll pick them up as long as they've got like a battery, a lithium-ion battery or a card in them. The ones that don't have batteries, i.e. they run on AA's, a lot of the newer ones run on AA's because they've got less power requirements, being smaller cameras for the same amount of digital. In fact, the 16 and 18 megapixel cameras these days, they only require 2 little batteries, whereas the lithium-ion batteries that these have means they always keep their value, because people who run out of batteries on that they might want a second battery are willing to pay £10 or £15. So you can pick up a camera knowing that you'll be able to sell it. If it doesn't work, you'll be able to sell all the parts. Anyway, this does work, and yeah, 25, what was it, 23.95. Pretty standard, bog standard. Pay up to £5 for those. These were nice. I bought 2 of these for £18. If you'd stuck out, I'd have happily paid the £20 because I knew they were good. Quite big reels, and they were, yeah, the carp reels with a big spool on. Powerful. I mean, you need a powerful reel because some of those carp, they go to £40. I know, it's amazing. And yeah, my brother goes carp fishing. He's had things like this and shown me them, so I know that they're valuable. And I got £30 for each one, plus delivery on top. So £18 into 60, you know, can't grumble. This came out of a camera, exactly what I said to you about cameras that don't work. I bought the camera. I didn't know whether it worked or not. It did actually work after a fashion, but it didn't have a decent battery in it. So I sold this for, I think I bought the camera for £2 or £3. Sold this for £13 and £5. There's the £5 from the postage going up at the beginning of April. I've stopped doing that now, but at the time, I just put everything up 10p on an automatic increase. So there's some 5s and some 9s out there. Originally, this would have been £12.95. It went up by 10p. Very short write-up, and it sold fairly quickly. And yeah, the postage on that would have been 68p plus an envelope. It was a card-backed envelope for things like this because it makes it nice and thin, and you can send it as a normal letter. So 68p. Off that, plus fees, probably came in at what's that? £10. So £7 profit. You can hear the dustbin men coming along the road now. No worries. If it gets too loud, I will redo the video. That part of it, anyway. Yeah, so those cameras, actually, that camera I actually sold for $13.95 because even though the battery was pretty much duff, it did turn on, but it was a Cybershot 5 megapixel, pretty much unmarked. It was quite good condition, even though it wasn't. The battery was worn out. So I sold it as a museum piece, collector's display model only, saying that the battery does turn on, but quite honestly, this is more of a display model. But if you look, there's no markings on it, there's no scratching on it. It's in very good cosmetic condition. And I got £14, so, you know, can't grumble. This was nice. Generally, I don't show DVDs, videos, video games, books that I've bought and sold because it's just bread and butter fodder stuff. You know, for bundles, for video games to go with a console, or I'll bundle 5 video games together. I do plenty of single video games, but there's not a lot of margin in them. It's just not worth showing them in one of these. Except for this. This was a good example of knowing what you want to buy. This was 20 pence in a 5 for £1 car boot. Pick this directly out of his pile of DVDs. But it's about knowing, isn't it? This, obviously, the Stranglers, pretty much a cult band. Cult following, definitely. And, as it says, rare. But I would go for any older band's video collections. It's just about knowing that it's rare. But yeah, go for music videos. They're very good. I've sold quite a lot recently. This is another one that's basic bog standard for me now. I would say, unless it's a really good brand, don't buy DVD players anymore. I would go with probably Samsung, yes, and Sony, or maybe LG. I would draw the line at Panasonic, quite honestly, because they're bulky. But Blu-rays, it's the last hurrah of the disc family, if you like, and people still have big Blu-ray and DVD collections, and obviously with a Blu-ray player you can play DVDs. So yeah, 30 quid is pretty standard with a remote. Now this one I had to buy the remote in, and you've got to make that a selling point. Well, you've got to make it when you make your money on these when you buy them. So don't go spending £6 on a Blu-ray player if it doesn't have a remote. You do need a remote really on most of these ones with the black fronts like that, with like 2 buttons. They might have a play, a stop and an eject button, and that'll be all there is on the front of these. All the functions are on the remote. So you need a remote, except for like playing the original film, and that's it, all the way through without pausing it. So yeah, you need a remote. The remotes go from 5 to 8 quid new replacement, or you might be able to get an original for £10. Who knows? But if you're adding that into £5 or £6, you've got £12. Then you've got to take that fees off that. You're only going to make a tenner. It's not worth it. But with this, it's got a brand new remote. The remote cost me £5.50. I believe the Blu-ray player was £3. So £9.50 altogether. Get 30 quid minus the fees. So we're talking 24 quid. Delivery was on top, so I made £15 profit, which is 50% of actual turnover minus the delivery. I don't expect to make 50% of the delivery cost, obviously. This was nice. This was come from a clearance guy. 3 items for £2, so 66p. Got £28.95 for it. Again, it's about knowing whether something you pick up is worth something. Anything with Plantronics on it, except for used headsets. Something where people have stuffed their ears onto it, or they've been breathing into a microphone, or the cable's all tangled up. No, just put it back in the box. Something like this, where it's got a USB adapter, and it's obviously high-tech little box. Yeah, buy it, you know. As I said, 66p, came with a little dongle adapter and a cable, which was stuffed out the end of it at the time, and it was dirty, dusty. Give it a good clean. Yeah, good profit margin. I showed some photos recently that I'd bought. I think I paid £2 each for the large ones and £1 each for the small ones. This isn't one of them. This is one that I got from a charity shop. It cost me £3. I had it up for £23, but it was selling. It was very slow. It's a little bit larger than the ones I bought recently. But Frank Meadow Sutcliffe, if you see any of these old fisher folk on the side of a dock, or trawlers with sails or sailboats on a dock, and they look, you know, sort of very old, the actual photographs, it's well worth looking into whether they're you know, a popular photographic subject. This is Frank Meadow Sutcliffe. Any of his prints for this sort of thing are going to be popular. So yeah, £3 into 18. I was happy with that. This was a recent purchase in York. I did hold it up on a couple of weeks ago, the video I made. This cost me 20, and it was well worth the 20. It sold immediately for 90. I think mainly because I was doing free special delivery. It made it stand out from all the other people who were charging on top. There was plenty of people asking for 75 quid and charging on top, which actually comes to less than what I charged. I had this up for £99 with free special delivery, and blasted out some offers, and then I took a counter offer of 90. I was blasting out offers of £94.99, something like that, and that was gone in a day or so for 90. Special delivery, so we're talking about £7.50 off that. So what does that leave? £83.50, and then the fees are about £18. So what's that? £65. It cost me £2. So I probably made. It cost me £20. So I made about £45 in one go, in a very quick amount of time. Whereas these took me over a year. These sold very slow, and in fact I didn't even get that in the end. I got £17.95 plus delivery, £7.99 on top. Guy was very happy with them, despite the fact that the lids were loose, broken off. So I had them separate, and he said it doesn't matter because I'm going to use them for. I'm not going to be drinking out of them. I'm using them as photographic props. and he actually sent me photographs of what he'd been doing. He was a food photographer, and he'd laid the food out in front of them and used them as sort of evoking the Middle Eastern style. His name was Middle Eastern, so he knew what he was talking about, I'm sure. And he was very happy with them. But they were the last two bits of a piece of, a bundle of brass bits that I bought from a car boot over a year ago, last spring. And yeah, I bought the whole bundle for £10, and I've sold every single last bit of it now. I was very pleased with that, and I think overall I probably made £150 in parts and bits from it. I sold all three of these that I showed a couple of weeks ago. I paid on average £1.50 for each one, for two of them, and I paid £3 or £2 for a camera with one of them in, which also had a battery in. So I'm working on an average of about £1.50 each, $16.95. Each one would go in a card-backed envelope, small letter, so 68p. It says large letter, but they weren't. They were just letters. If you see a camera and it's got the out-of-date designs of memory, XD cards, the Sony type of card, the CF card, that's compact flash. If you see any of those, or smart cards, they're well worth picking up, because you'll get the camera fairly cheap, because let's face it, they're completely out of fashion. Anything that doesn't have an SD card in the back, it's out of date really. So you'll pick it up really cheap, because these come in the back of like 2 and 4 megapixel for cameras, but they're still in extremely wanted by the people who actually have those cameras and want them. These actually, and the same with the smart cards, can be used for other things than Olympus and Fujifilm cameras. They can be used in things like old Yamaha and Moog keyboards for recording MIDI keyboard sounds, and the actual sound recordings for old keyboards. And especially the smart cards, they can fetch good money because of that. Even things like 16 megabyte cards fetch good money. There's a knowledge bomb. Boom, as they say. And I will say thank you for watching. Hit the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. It does help the algorithm. If you enjoyed it, or you think I imparted some interesting knowledge, please let me know. And if you have any questions at all about what I've sold, just put it in the comments and I'll reply to them. And if you think I'm going on too long, tell me that instead. Thank you for watching.